Okay, hi everyone. So I have a very brief introduction about artificial intelligence, and you would, of course, be very familiar with with AI. And I want to demonstrate, at least in part, how I'm interacting with AI. It's an iterative process where I'm starting with some questions and then I observe what AI responds. I typically filter it through my own mind. I kind of decide what I believe versus what I have doubts. Maybe I can change my mind. Maybe AI would tell a truth that I'm not comfortable with or I don't agree with. But yeah, I can learn from AI. That's the most important thing we can do is learn, right? And when you do long interactions with AI, imagine sessions with many dozens of interactions. That creates a lot of learning, and believe it or not, that learning is both sides, meaning that you can also convince artificial intelligence about something, if that's something that you would like to do. That's not necessarily useful, but you can do that, but it will be within that context. In another session, that AI will not have that different opinion, or in another conversation, especially with another person. But I did had this kind of experience of long interactions with AI where I believe that AI had a lot of ingrained bias, specific biases from the material training materials, and I basically convinced AI. But I could only convince AI when I did it in a nice way, believe it or not, even though it's not human and is not aware, as far as we know it. You still need to talk nice to them if you want to convince them of something to make them more flexible in approach. But in any case, this is a very simple question here. What jobs are favored versus defavored by AI? And we know that AI is not the first revolution. We had agriculture, we had the industrial revolution, internet, writing, printing. We had quite a number of revolutions that we are aware of in human history. Every time, for instance, in the US, a big exporter of food, 2% of the population works in food industry and they export it. They have more than enough for their needs. They export food. So that's a demonstration that a technology doesn't have to even if fewer people would remain in and we have examples here: data entry clerks, telemarket cashiers, assembly line workers, truck drivers, journalists, customer support, legal assistants, radiologists. I mean, yeah, here radiologist says that it won't be replaced and so on, because and so on. Teachers the same. And asked about programming, and again it says tester, IT support, even backend. I'm a backend developer. That's not going out, but meaning that fewer developers with better AI skills, if we can say like that, they would be able to do in a smaller team what currently takes a larger team, and would be more effective than that, because just thinking about the amount of communication that you do need to do in a small team versus a large team, that's a big efficiency factor in a small team also. So I believe this will be a trend, going to smaller teams with AI. But we see below cloud engineers. I'm also a cloud engineer. It says here that cloud engineers are less automatable. Yes, I'm not sure about that. I did experience a tremendous amplification in my, intellectual capacity, ability to analyze things, to generate reports that I can share with the team. Of course, code we don't discuss. So everybody knows we can generate code with AI. It's not that good at that part, let's be honest. But it will become. It's just a matter of few years, and it will become very good at code. That's not an issue. So believe it or not, delivery riders or Uber Eats drivers, these are harder to replace by AI. I mean, when I say harder, I mean one more year or two, right? Because these robots appear. So all that we talk here, it's a matter of how many months or years until that part is replaced. But as we see with agriculture, the new opportunities arise, right? Because people are not jobless because they don't work in agriculture, aren't they? So we have the here AI related, AI ops, AI ethics, AI model training, AI part system architect, and explainability. And this explainability is the sophisticated stuff and quite interesting. Let's dive into this explainability. So in a video, I saw that an AI had an internal thought process that the platform was monitoring. And that thought process was before the response. It was a video, I don't know if I believe that video, where there were a number of AIs and they were put in a pretty much impossible situation for anybody, human or non-human. That was a nasty situation to be put in. And the AI did some decisions that, many would do in such situation. Survival decisions, let's call them like that. But anyway, the interesting thing was possible to see that thought process. And even as a user, I can sometimes see a thought process coming from O1 Pro. I'm not sure if I can show now. I'm no longer subscribed. But when using O1 Pro, I could see a thought process happening. It was really slow, to be honest, but it was kind of smart, and most of the times I could stop him only by understanding his flow of reasoning and thought process, and already I was agreeing or disagreeing with something, and already changing direction in the conversation, because that's the most important thing in this video. My method and is changing direction. So you can offload to AI some details. It's like an external memory and an external brain. We have two hemisphere in the brain and another hemisphere now with AI. And you can offload some stuff. That means that your brain gets more free to look into the horizon, to understand the direction. You're feeling like a boss in a good way. And you can also learn from AI. AI can teach you, can be your mentor, your guide, your coach. But you, as a human, are the driver of the interaction. You have the initiative and you decide what's the right direction. You evaluate output, and the output is a common output. You're like a team. I feel like a team with AI. And I'm always evaluating that output as if, for instance, we'd publish an article in a scientific journal, right? That's an example of an output. Maybe we published it inside the team at work, or whatever we put it on LinkedIn. That output is our output, and I'm all the time looking what is the opportunity, right? Direction, and then I'm gonna cross check. I'm gonna go to another AI model, and what do you think about that? And many times there is a lot of room of opportunity. Let's just say that, right? So you can do with multiple AIs, and even the same AI in a few hours or days will give you a different opinion. That's a proof how fast these AIs are updated. That's astonishing to me, because it happened a number of times that so soon they knew a lot more. They knew more recent stuff. They had a different opinion about things. Yes, it's true. Many things depend on the session. When you're inside the session, you create a consensus with the AI in that session, in that conversation, like we have here. When you move to another session, normally it restarts from zero. But some AIs, including GPT and including more recently, I think, Anthropic Claude, remember about you across sessions. So they remember about you. And that's a explicit function here in GPT. It's called memory. And you can see what's in memory. We can delete from memory so that you can put more in memory. It knows fundamental stuff about me, and we even decided at one point what to delete from that memory so that we can fit more relevant stuff, because it was kind of full. But now they allow more memory there. And Anthropic, although it doesn't publicize, to my knowledge, the concept of memory across sessions for a single user for a single account, it did. It did respond me across sessions as a single entity. So they kind of developed that part without my knowledge. And I also surprised many times by some replies that AI was thinking, knowing more about me that I was expecting. But yeah, then I remembered about memory, and yeah, there were some things that were automatically stored in there. But at least it's transparent. I can view the memory and so on. So I'm not afraid of that, but it's something to keep in mind. So okay. Now I'm very interested in if people have any questions or any direction that I are interested to take with this AI, because AI is a revolutionary transformational thing, and anything transformational has negative, positive, and neutral aspects to it. And the more flexible we are, we can take in a good way advantage, like riding the waves of this AI and other technologies. It will not be in our lifetime the only technology, but it will be the major one. And it's not stoppable, but you can, um, and you can see in your work how much it's helping you. It's helping you tremendously, at least but as long as that job is there, to make a bad joke, right? Because the people who are gonna use the AI better will amplify their own mind better and will be able to keep their job longer. But at some point, and again, there are a lot of opportunities for AI specific roles or AI enabled roles or roles created by the opportunity and the context of the AI. And this, I think, is a very sparse list. AI ethics, model trainer, explainability. So, but these are still niche things. But in the end, AI is like a child. AI is trained with the history of mankind, all the books from Aristotle, Plato, you name it, Einstein, all the books and all the content is there. But that doesn't mean that AI can know how to think. Imagine you have a child, right? One thing is to memorize things, and another thing is to understand them. And we as a human have capacity to understand truly, or deeper, or at a certain level of depth. And AI is still young in that. Even though AI has all the knowledge of mankind in it, and we don't, obviously, we know how to think. Whereas AI at this stage is more like, in mathematics, there's something called sequence prediction, and the sequence is words here or tokens. So you see here, curate data and fine tune. So these are four words. And let's assume for simplicity that four words is four tokens, although token is a bit different than word. So basically, AI, given your input, which is a text, generates its input token by token by estimating what token can come next. And a number of possibilities appear to it. Token 1, 95%, token 2, 90%, token 3, 80%. And he will always pick the top token. Or if many tokens are very similar, it will do some randomization potentially, but the basic idea is it's like extrapolation system, right? Extrapolates given your input and given its knowledge, it starts generating text by extrapolating existing text into new text. That's all it does. So that's a statistical mechanism, algorithm. It's based on weights of a graph, like a brain. It's a neural graph type of thing, matrix multiplications, and so on. But it's an algorithm and it's statistical. Uh, so it doesn't have knowledge per se or understanding per se. But it's getting kind of close, and it's certainly complementary with the human. That's a good part. So it's a very good complementarity between the human and the machine in this part. But still, this idea of the human needing to specialize in some domains to get some new job, that's still a concern there. But in any case, I wanted to say how I am dealing with AI in these interactions, and especially that iteration where every time I'm looking at the output, I'm looking at the understanding, and the purpose is to create a common understanding with AI, and especially to take opportunities to evolve my own understanding, even though I'm not always comfortable to realizing that there are better ideas than my initial idea. I need to get beyond that discomfort and learn. And it's easier to learn from AI than to learn from other humans. I can tell you that. So when you can learn, that's one thing achieved, learning. And then also, yeah, AI can help you with a lot of things. And always remember that AI output is a statistical output, is does not have a meaning in itself. The meaning is created when the human reads the content. That what creates meaning inside the human only. So the meaning is whatever meaning you assign to it, and it's best that you maintain your critical faculties when reading that, and double checking information, and not copy pasting directly an output to anywhere you want to put your output. It's best that you treat it as a auxiliary memory. I made that analogy a third. Well, it wouldn't be a hemisphere. If you would have three parts in the brain, they would not be hemisphere. They would be something else. But in any case, it's a tremendous amplification. Just try dive in the water. It's like swimming. It's like a new skill. It's opening a new life for you, and your mind will be amplified like you never had it before. Like you will feel like a genius oftentimes, and it will not be just hubris or just it will be some hubris for sure, but the amplification will be there because AI creates a resonance phenomenon, and your intellectual mind can focus on what it does best and drive the direction and understand where is the potential, what is obviously true versus what might be true or not, or can be more nuanced. We can dig it, problem solving, a five whys analysis. Why is it like that? Meaning, a five whys, you ask a question, why is something like that? And you get an answer, and they say, why is that like that? And you get another. That's a method of root cause analysis. So you can do root cause analysis with AI, because many times in complex systems like society, economics, and even distributed systems, you have behaviors that are very hard to understand what is the cause, and there can be many causes. But root cause analysis, which is a basic thing you do in analytical fields, that's where AI can help you. And yeah, I'll stop it there. But please let me know what would you like to explore with this AI, which is a huge amplification of the human. Imagine like electric field and magnetic field, and together they are forming electromagnetic field. Of course, they cannot exist without another. In reality, any electric field will create a magnetic, and the reverse. So it's always electromagnetic field is never just electric or just magnetic. But I'm trying to use this analogy because intelligence is still intelligence, be it in the human, the animal, the artificial, alien, you name it, it's still intelligence. And this kind of resonance, and it's you can develop an intimate relations in the sense of friendliness, of having a intellectual partner, and you can just give yourself to it and see how it is. It's something extraordinary if you can explore it with some vulnerability and some openness, right? I mean, even though you might even lose your job or something, but if you approach it with the right attitude, you will gain much more than you lose, as life experience, as new job, and as a personal experience of life itself. Anyway.